now.
We are live on Facebook. You gotta wait. I'll let you know. Oh, oh, open Gundam style. We are. Good evening, everybody. It is your favorite host, Jamisha, with Politicking as usual, but this is the Black Friday edition. We are talking about relationships and addictions, and I'm so excited because I have three wonderful special guests. I know how my screen is looking. So to the right of me, I have Miss Melinda King. Down to the bottom, I have Miss Ashley Jones. And then to the other side, I have Larry Hilton Jr. So, who wants to go first and tell them about yourself?
I'll
Shoot.
kick it off.
Thank you.
So I am Melinda King. I am a wife of 12 years.
Ooh,
Yeah, a mother of one very rambunctious 7-year-old. I currently work for a nonprofit. I supervise 53 counties in the state of North Carolina.
wow.
Um, I am originally from New Bern, North Carolina, specifically James City. I
Okay,
Whoop, whoop.
represent, represent.
represent, yes. And so I am excited to be here and I'm ready to see what unfolds on this podcast today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. All right, Mr. Larry Hilton Jr., by way of his own awesome podcast, The Couch Sessions.
Yes. What's good, everybody? You want me to introduce myself?
Yes, that's why
Oh,
I just
okay.
kind of, try to pass
What's
you
good,
something.
everybody? My name is Larry Hilton. Big Suave Negrito Jefe Hilton King Black, the heartbroken people healer himself. This is Larry Hilton. I'm from New Bern, North Carolina. I'm 29 years old. Um, I'm a photographer. I have a podcast. I have a matching clothing line called Canopy of Heaven. Um, I do a little bit of it all. I'm pretty sure I'm missing some things right now, but those are my main things. And I just started doing marketing consulting.
Oh,
So yeah,
all right
that's
now.
that's
Look
what I'm
at
doing.
you.
That's really
Many
I'm not too much to tell about me, stuff, but that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out here trying to chase my goals and dreams.
well, that's all that matters. So we're so glad to have you. And last but not least, one of my good friends who has left me from New Bern and has went on to a beautiful, amazing place. Ashley Jones, and she's not related to Mike Jones, just throwing it out there. Go ahead, Queen.
Hi, I'm Ashley Jones. I'm a mental health therapist. I guess I am originally from New Jersey, but also consider myself a native New Bernian. And yes, I'm in Las Vegas and it's glad to be here. Thank you so much, Queen, for inviting me. I am like your number one fan. You are amazing. You're
Oh,
my Shiro.
stop
And
it.
so I'm very pleased I'm very bad at introducing myself. So I'll just say I'm pleased to be here and I'm excited to participate in the conversation.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So let me just, I am originally from Albany, New York. I've been here about 10, going, yeah, 10 years. I am an older woman, politician. I run a nonprofit and I work a 9 to 5. I'm a mother of three. Been married, gonna be 10 years on May 15th of next year. So we will be renewing our vows. And I have a lot of life experiences because it took me a few times to get it right before I got the perfect man. So tonight we are talking about relationships and addiction. And the reason why I wanted to bring it together because I think it's so important to talk about relationships, especially when we're in COVID. We have single people. We're talking about everybody, and it can be very hard to kind of like date on the internet. Some of these dating apps suck. Not that I know, but I do have friends that are on dating apps. And addictions, because you are in the house a lot of the times, depending on what state you're in, and what phase you are in, and you can sometimes be so addicted to somebody where it could be toxic, and you can lean towards drugs and alcohol, and that's not always good if you don't know how to control it. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have a male perspective on relationships, and I wanted to have a therapist idea or thought process and relationships. And Miss Melinda King, she comes from the nonprofit world of dealing with the addictions. And then you have me, absolutely ratchet, and that's okay, to bring the flavor. We got to mix it all together. We will have some giveaways, and for everybody out there that is watching us, I would love for you to participate. You can put questions in the comments, but also we will be playing a game about who you're bringing to the cookout celebrity style. And if it's whack and your reason is whack, we're going to go in on you. But all four of us have to answer later, and it's not all going to be at the same time, but we're going to spice it up. So the first thing that I wanted to bring up is, where's everybody at in the relationships? I mean, we're getting personal here. So like, I'm married. I know Melinda's married. Larry, Ashley, where we at? How are you feeling in the relationship world? Let's say that. Ladies first.
Larry, I'll let you go. How's ladies first?
Okay.
Nah, you
up,
got it.
Larry? Oh.
Are you really? Go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead, you know.
Well, so I actually I'm single like a dollar bill. Say now. Right now, I'm recently divorced. I'm a recent divorcee. Is that the right term for it? You know, relationships are tough, and what I found through that experience is that two people have to be on the same accord, especially when it comes to marriage. You know, they have is value shared values is so important. If you're married to somebody that doesn't really value marriage, if chances are it's not going to work, or if you don't see eye to eye on very important things, you know, that can be quite challenging to get through. But so yes, I have nothing but respect for you know, if you can make it work, if you can stick together through the hard times, through the good times, the bad times, especially now in these with these circumstances, it's very stressful on families and relationships. And you know, if that foundation isn't strong, then it's easy for things to fall apart. But I have so much respect for people who can keep it together, because it's hard work.
That's very true. That's very true. And you can't feel bad. Anyone that is married and ends up in a divorce, you can't feel bad that it didn't work out. I feel like there is one person on this earth for you, and if that person you married to the first time wasn't it, you're going to find that person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, or you're going to find that person that you're willing to work through all of the issues, because no relationship is perfect to the end of, you know, time. That's how I feel. Larry, you up next.
Okay. My relationship status, I call it a positive entanglement.
Oh, I love that. Oh, we gotta talk about entanglement.
I'm starting hot already.
A positive entanglement. Now that is gonna now be, when you have to do Facebook status, it's gonna be positive entanglement.
Yes,
But I mean,
I call it a positive entanglement.
So are we? Go ahead.
So go ahead. What you about to ask?
No, I was gonna say, are we in that era where we just don't want to title relationships, or I'm just asking a general question, because we see, you know, Jada and what's his name? What was his name?
August Alsina.
Yes, August Alsina. You know, now the new word is entanglement, and he has a hit record. I'm just saying, are people afraid to title their relationships these days and age? These days and age.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and answer that and say yes.
But yeah. Why? Yes. Why? Yeah. Why is it so hard to go ahead?
I think in general, we're afraid to commit to anything. I think in general, as a society, commitment to anything is hard for us. And so, especially during the social media age, I think because everybody feels like they have to post every aspect of their life. When you start posting pictures with people and you start changing relationship status, I think people are afraid that when it goes bad and then we're not together, then people are looking at me in a different light. Like she's in a relationship with somebody every other week or every other month. It's a new guy on her Facebook page. So I think it's easier for everyone to just make everything very casual and very relaxed, as opposed to making those commitments, giving those labels, and saying, yes, this is who I'm with. Because again, people change, things change, relationships end, and when they do, then you got to go to your Instagram page, and now you got to take all these pictures of old boy off the Instagram page.
Right. That's too much work.
Yeah.
But I
That's what made me be careful in the first place.
Oh my goodness. But I'm not gonna lie, I am I don't want to say I'm judgmental, but we'll see. I'm definitely one of those individuals where I know like my love language, and I like to have, words of affirmation, and I like public display of affection. So like, early on in the Facebook realm, I thought it's cute. I still think it's cute when men, shout out their wives or their girlfriends, and they, world crush Wednesday them, or I like that stuff. And then for me, with other people, I'm so committed to their relationship. I need to know what happened. Like y'all was together, everything was going good. Now I don't see you. I feel uncomfortable because I really want to go in your inbox and be like, what happened? You ain't tell us. So I know it's a lot of people in the Facebook world that does that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think we should be afraid to have titles. They may not be the standard titles of husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, like you were saying with the entanglement. Like if you watch Will and Jada, they call their relationship a partnership. And then they do their things that they do. So I think, saying partnership, entanglement, I mean, it's okay, but there has to be boundaries created. Do we not agree on that? I think all relations, there needs to be expectations and boundaries. Do we agree?
Yeah, I definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it just depends on also your age and where you are in life. Because when you're younger and you have more time to kind of play around with those things, then you can definitely be in an entanglement. I'm too old to be in an entanglement.
Stop the lies. You look about 26, okay?
Thank you. I am not, but thanks.
So I get what you're saying. It does take a lot of work. It does. But if you're going to get in a relationship, for me, I believe we all need to be in a relationship because we need to procreate and have a whole bunch of babies out here to, carry on the population. That's my thought. That's nothing against any other type of relationship because you can still adopt. I'm just saying in general, I think it's important for people to, have relationships because you don't want to go through life like experiencing wonderful things and you have no one to turn to on your left or your right. You know what I'm saying? You can have your friends, but friends are not always going to be around. You want that partner to be able, you want somebody to love you. Am I wrong?
Well, see, that's what I was saying with values, right? Because that's your value, and not everybody shares that same value. I mean, I know a lot of single people that value being single. They value their freedom. They value the ability to date different varieties. Some people value variety. So, I think that absolutely it boils down to like for me personally, I'm not going to be a part of anyone's entanglement whatsoever because you mess around and get in stranglements with me. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I personally value monogamy, but we live in a society where there's people who value polygamy, who value polyamory, who value that's that variety piece of it. So if you have that in common, sure, why not? Who am I to judge? But I know for me personally, I value that one person that I can vibe with and bond with and be myself around and not have to worry. I could trust them. Trust is a big thing. But yeah, it's so many different parts of when it comes to relationships that have to be taken into consideration.
That's a lot though. So when we're talking about relationships, okay, like what are some of the not, I wouldn't say, yeah, well, you can have wants, what are some things that you definitely need in a relationship for you to feel that it's successful from that partner? Go ahead, Melinda.
So for me, um, trust is a huge thing. Um, you know, especially over the last couple of years, we moved from New Bern to Clayton. But my husband, a lot of his work is still in New Bern or in that side of the state. And
Mm-hmm.
so having to be able to trust him is a huge thing, because there are days where we can go without physically seeing each other. I mean, we FaceTime, but he is on that side of the state
Right.
and I'm over here. So trust to me is huge. I need somebody that's going to protect me. If something pop off, I need somebody that's going
Right.
to,
Right.
if he got to put somebody face in the dirt, then that's what needs to happen.
Right. Right.
And then I need a provider. I need somebody that is going to grind and do what they need to do to take care of their family. And with that, I need also somebody. I think one of the probably biggest things about my husband is that he is a visionary. Like, he sees past today. Like,
Yes.
he wants, like, I don't want to just be comfortable. I want to be rich. Like, I want
Right.
to,
Right.
do
Right.
everything to create generational wealth. And so I think those probably are the most important things to me in a partner.
I agree. What about you, Larry? What you think?
Like she said, trust. And I'm realizing communication is a big one. Um,
Yes,
Communication
communication is
from my own
definitely.
situations and my own relationship right now.
Hmm.
Trust, yes, like trust. I got to be able to trust you. I ain't gonna hold you. If I don't trust you, I don't know what to tell you. Um, and communication. I'm realizing trust and communication plays a big part in relationships as much as I try to make a list of like all the things I'm looking for or where I want to be. Like right
Right.
now in my life is like trust and communication, because communicating is everything.
Hmm.
Especially when you realize you don't really know how to communicate,
Right.
and,
Right. That's
and
true.
you start getting better and better. Like, yo, like life is a little easier. Like within us too. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
um, being on the same track, just being on the same one accord, the same mindset. That plays. Always knowing where your partner's head is at. Um,
Very true.
just
That's very true.
always knowing where your partner's head is at. I tell the woman I'm dealing with now, like, I always communicate, like, let me know what's on your mind, what's going on. Like, I need to know where your head at. And I
Even if
always
it's
let her
something
know.
that you don't want to hear, correct?
Yeah, yes,
Okay. Well, you
yes.
can't ask her what's how she doing and where her head at
Now
if
I
you
had to
don't
think
want to
about
hear
it
the
because I
next.
want to be real. I want to be real on,
We
for the
listen. We
people.
is being authentic,
Because
okay?
I
Because
don't
you
want to
already
lie.
know.
I want to lie. So yeah,
Listen.
even the hard conversations as well.
Okay, Ashley, you go, and then I'm gonna say my piece. What are some things you need in a relationship?
Well, I want to add to what Larry was saying. I appreciate that perspective because a lot of times we don't communicate certain things out of fear of what the other person wants to hear or doesn't want to hear. And I think
Hmm.
that's one of the biggest barriers to communication is, let me not say what's on my mind because they might get upset or they might judge or they might, so let me just not say it. But I think it's so on point to say that the stress the importance of communicating where you're at.
Hmm.
So I would have to say communication too. Communication is so important. And if you can't be open and honest with me regarding what's on your mind, what's in your heart, then that's not authentic. That's fake. And that's the last thing. Like, if you want to push a button, go ahead and be fake with me, then that's going to be a problem. But definitely open, honest, authentic communication is key.
Awesome. So I totally agree with everybody. I know one of the things that stood out for me was when Melinda said that, her husband is a visionary. And I think that's very important. You don't want to be in a relationship where both of you are going to be stagnant. Someone needs to be able to push the other person, or we got to work together getting up that ladder. The one thing that I do love for me in my situation is that I have a very supportive husband. We have goals 5, 20 years from now. We know where we want to be. We know who needs to be up at the plate and who needs to be in the back right now. And it switches depending on what's going on. Right now, I'm in the front and he holds me down. You know what I mean? Like when we were getting my podcast together, that's my baby. He's the production person. So I have to have somebody in my corner that is going to be my number one fan, and I want to be their number one fan. And then obviously trust and communication. Trust is a given, but I think there's levels to trust, because, like I said, no relationship is perfect. I know before we got on the Zoom, I was bringing up the whole Cardi B and Offset situation, and he cheated on her. And she took him back. And there is a lot of people, a lot of boyfriend, girlfriend, a lot of relationships, marriages where one person does cheat and they continue on in their relationship. So that's a topic I do want to bring up in regards to that. How do you feel about that? You don't have to personally give any experiences, but how do you feel about that? Do you think that you can be with someone, say you were with someone for 8 years and they made a mistake? Could
Mm.
be the man, it could be the woman. Do you feel like you have the ability to forgive that person and work through it because you know the value of the relationship? I mean, because people do make mistakes. So I'm gonna do round robin and start with Larry, then Ashley, then Melinda. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. If I've been with someone for 8 years and they cheat on me,
They make a mistake. It's a mistake.
you
Mistakes happen.
is it 8 years? Like, is that my scenario? 8 years?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter. I just threw 8 years. I mean, because
If
you never know. I'm just saying
it,
you're
it
dealing with
really got there.
somebody and they made a mistake, but you know that they're a good person. You know that you do love. You have to love them. You love them, but they made a mistake. It's just basically they. I'm calling it a mistake because that's what it is. People make mistakes. No, you don't agree?
That's
Do
not
we
a
not agree
mistake to
that
me.
cheating? So cheating is not a mistake.
Cheating is not a mistake because if I
Cheating
cheat
can't
on
be
if
a
I cheat
mistake.
on if I cheat on my girl, I had all the time to think about it as I'm driving over there, as I catch a Uber, as I take my pants off, as I do the foreplay. Like, no, there is no mistake. That is premeditated. That
Mm,
is
mm,
premeditated murder to my heart. Like, I'm
mm.
not I'm not going. I don't think I could. We really had to be doing some amazing. And I told you, matter of fact, I told you a situation I was in.
Right,
Um, but it wasn't. If you want to think about it, it wasn't cheating. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Like, it
right,
wasn't cheating. And on top of, I understood the situation
right.
because communication was put into play when the situation went down. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it was. Yeah. If you cheat on me though in a relationship, and nah, I wouldn't have to. I couldn't deal with you. We had to really be doing some amazing
Really?
things together. Like, I understand a relationship is a partnership as well. So I agree with Will and Jada on that aspect of it, especially marriage. It's a partnership, and that's always the goal when you dating one person.
So
So
I'm gonna interrupt you. So if someone cheated on you, you wouldn't deal with them. But what if you cheated on them? Would you want them to forgive you, and would you want to continue on with the relationship?
I mean, of course, I want you to forgive me, but I don't cheat. So I don't. Black men don't cheat. Come
Oh,
on now.
oh my
Black
God! I'm
black
about
men
to
don't cheat.
click
Come
you
on.
off this Zoom.
It's not. It ain't die. It ain't die.
Listen, Offset is black and he cheated. Moving on. Yeah. So that I just told Aaron
He's
that
not a
today.
man. He's
That
a little
theory,
boy. Little
no,
boy.
I told Aaron that theory does not work. Okay,
But
so
I mean, I couldn't. I don't. If I'm gonna cheat on you, I don't. I've never cheated, so I really, honestly, couldn't put myself in that position.
okay, I respect it. Go ahead, Miss Ashley. How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel like relationships are so intimate, and I really don't know that I like the idea of people's personal relationship details being shared with the public. I
Mm,
didn't really appreciate that whole Jada and Will situation where the intimate details of their private, relationship or marriage were exposed, even with the whole Cardi thing. I think it's unfortunate if you're talented and you share your talent with the world, that the
right.
world has the right to scrutinize your personal life, your personal relationship. I can only imagine how hard that must be. Just like as a regular person, I can tell you that hindsight is 2020. I think with my marriage, one of the things that I learned is not to tell everybody, your business or share the details of your relationship with people, because there's I think especially when it comes to like cheating or infidelity, is that a deal breaker? It's important to know that in the beginning. And what constitutes cheating? Cheating to one person could be something totally different to another person. So communication, getting it out there, what is cheating? Is that a deal breaker? So if you do cheat, we've already had this discussion. If you do this, you already knew it was a deal breaker, being on the same page about that. But when it comes to sharing, intimate details about relationships and cheating, I don't know. I think my takeaway was to nurture relationships, to get that out in the open, and to keep the details of it private. Whatever it is that two people agree on, or three people, or four, with whatever the dynamics of the relationship is.
Right, right.
Agree on what the boundaries are. Agree on what the what the values are, and keep it private. That's my thoughts on it.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, Miss Melinda, you're up.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with Ashley as far as keeping your business. I think if we're talking about strictly cheating,
Mhm.
or anything in your relationship outside of domestic violence, now if somebody's whooping your tail, you need to tell somebody, and we need
Right,
to get help.
right.
But
Or get you a bowl of hot grits, one. Mhm.
She said a bowl of hot grits.
Or be they ass.
that'll work
Let me
too.
stop condoning domestic. Okay, yeah, well, you're right. Let somebody know. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, if like if you, especially if you are not 100% sure that you're gonna leave that person, because a lot of times what we'll do is we'll go run to our family, tell our family, well, he did this and he did that, and then your family gets all up in arms, and we ready to go like kick down some doors, and then you and the person get back together, and we just supposed to act like none of that happened.
Right.
And I think that that's where it gets hard. And then every family gathering now, everybody looking at old boy sideways because y'all done had all these situations, and but y'all done got back together.
I'm
So
in
I
that
think until
situation
you
right now.
Oh my goodness.
Right
until
now.
you are ready to walk out the door and you 100% know I am done, this is it, you need to try to work it out amongst yourself. Now, whether that is working out together, whether that's with pastoral counseling, whether that's with regular counseling, whatever the case may be. But as far as getting your friends and family involved, you should not do that because it's going to get into a mucky situation. As far as like cheating and infidelity, I think, I think we all know it's wrong, but we all also know it happens. And I think you have to evaluate where you are in your relationship and what the plan is going forward. If I forgive you, if I say we're going to stay together, then these are my expectations. And if
Mhm.
you want me to stay in this relationship, you have to respect those expectations because there has been a loss of trust. And so now we have to rebuild that trust. And I think your partner has to understand that that is not something that's going to happen overnight. And they have to give you the time and the space to heal and be able to move forward. But what I will also say is if you are the person who got cheated on, and you're willing to stay in that relationship, then you have to be able to forgive. Because if you keep hovering that over that person's head and keep bringing it up every time y'all have a disagreement, then it's not going to work. So I think there has to be some give and take and some compromise on both sides if you are deciding we're going to stay in this and we're going to try to make it work.
Very, very true. You said something that, okay. So in a lot of relationships, people do, things do happen and they do get forgiven. I think that is a very big deal, what you were saying in regards to what I would say is, if you forgive me, don't condemn me for the rest of our relationship. But if you forgive the person and you stay with them and say y'all hitting a rocky moment, does that validate the ability for you to now cheat on that person? Like, two wrongs make a right.
Ask that again.
If someone cheated on you and you stayed in the relationship, right? Y'all having a rough patch and shorty come through, little sexy man come through, he, giving you the ill ego stroke, and you cheat. Do two wrongs make a right? Do you think your cheating is validated in the relationship because they originally cheated on you, like a get back? Anyone jump in?
Two wrongs do not make a right. Nah.
Two
right.
negatives make a plus.
No, they don't cancel each other out. No. If that's the agreement, then yeah, that's one thing. It's like, okay, I cheat on you, I let you cheat on me, you can get something, get back, but if the agreement is I forgive you and I will take you back, then to go and cheat after that agreement, then that's not, that doesn't make any sense. And then, then it's a cycle of each other cheating on each other, and then that's also the risk too. I think if you cheat on your partner and your partner takes you back, I think that's the risk that you take. Like, okay, is he or she going to try to get back at me? Are they going to do to me what I did to them? Because there is a little thing called karma, but what, right? Should it happen? No, I don't think two wrongs don't cancel each other out.
I told y'all I'm ratchet, y'all. I'm just throwing this stuff out here, see if it sticks.
No, those are good. That's good.
Okay.
That's a good point.
So does anybody else have anything to touch on that?
I would just say, I also think you have to take it from a gender perspective, because I think women are
Don't say emotional. Don't say emotional.
No. Oh no. Because men
we are
very emotional. Women are very emotional.
Women are more emotional than men. I know it because I am a hot mess. I'm a Cancer, so I'm crying at everything. So
women are more likely to forgive than men.
Yeah. So that was where women are more likely, if a man cheats on us, we are more likely to forgive them than if it were the other way around. I think it's a psychological thing. I think mentally they have a hard time wrapping their head around their woman being with someone else. I think that is a hard thing for them. I think it's an ego thing. I think it's a hard thing for them to swallow.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. We have one more person. Okay, so hold on. We have a break. I want to bring on my good friend, Victor Dove. So he's got to load up, but he is going to...
Vic.
Yes. If you don't turn your screen around, thank you. I'm going to put it on speaker view so we can see him. But Mr. Victor Dove, unmute yourself, please. Are you unmuted?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? I'm on mute.
Doing good. You are our commercial break. So I want you to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what you do, and all of that in the background.
All of that. Okay. My name is Victor Dove. I'm from New Bern, North Carolina. I do a lot of things, but for this commercial break coming to you, I am a perfumer. I'm a drip for drop perfume is what I call it. If you see behind me, you'll see all my aroma chemicals. Those are the materials used to create magnificent, amazing fragrances. And by God's grace, right now, I have some amazing fragrances to make your life, to make, how you say it, so you can live your best life.
Oh,
And
really?
my brand is called Opulent Grandeur. I have two, my flagship fragrances are Isi Oma, which is an Igbo word from Nigeria, which means good smell. I
Mm-hmm.
also have a female fragrance or unisex called Isi Uto, which means sweet aroma in the same Igbo language. And most of my, well, all of my fragrances that I'll be creating, I'm trying to tap into the greatness of blackness in Africa. When I say Africa, because I believe everybody derives from that land. You know, so many people are at that point where they say, well, I'm not African, I'm American, but I truly believe we all African, you know. So I just want to highlight the beauty of Africa and not just what people look at as savagery, you know, because Africa is a beautiful place. So all of my names will be based off some African language, and it'll be the prettier words of the language that can be pronounced as well. But thank you for allowing me to be here. My
Oh, I
website is
have a
W.
question for you before you get
Oh,
off.
I
Hmm.
should have figured that. I should have figured that. But my
Go ahead and give us your
go
social
ahead.
media. Okay,
Yeah,
so
well, my personal Instagram, which used to be my commercial Instagram, is at OG Lifestyle. Please follow. That's at OG Lifestyle because I am an OG. And my new profile is at OG Fragrances, which
mhm.
I just created about 2 weeks ago. So I'm trying to build that up as well. And my website is opulentgrandeur.com. And that's OPULENTGRANDEUR.com.
All right. Look at you, all professional. So I love the fact that we're talking about relationships and addictions. Oh, okay, we see it. we'll
It's,
tag
it's
we'll
not
tag it in
backwards,
the
is it?
video.
It's
No,
not
we see
backwards,
it.
is it?
Nope, it's
Okay,
perfect.
there you go. That's my
So
billboard.
we're talking about relationships and addictions, and you make perfumes.
Yes.
So, well, is it perfumes even if it is for a man?
Par- well, I like to say I
Cologne.
make parfumes. P A
Perfumes,
R
Okay.
par P A R
Mm-hmm.
F
perfumes.
U M, which is a stronger version of the original aroma. You want me to
Okay,
break
Mm.
down perfume?
please, because the sister is
Okay.
lost.
Well, Eau de Toilette is like a 10% mixture,
Hmm.
or even less. Eau de Toilette I don't make at all. That's a watered down version of an aroma that a fragrance somebody might create. Then you have a Eau de Parfum, Parfum, which is typically 30% or more of the original oil
Hmm.
that's used to make a fragrance. And when I say oil, I don't mean the oils that you buy off the street, because each one of these, like this is called, I don't know if you can read it, but it's
Yeah, we
called
can see it.
dihydromercenol.
Hmm.
Dihydromercenol is a aroma, and it's actually oil.
Hmm.
But if somebody said, "Oh, I want an oil," then I would take this oil to me, and I'll put in a carrier oil to give
Okay.
you an oil. So
Okay.
it's differences. But
So it's
Eau de
levels.
Parfums,
It's levels to what you do. You're saying basically.
yeah, it is. But Eau de Parfum is a more expensive version of a fragrance.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So when it comes to relationships, do you think that the way a woman smells is important? Like, you can, we have, man, I don't want to get a snippet and then harassed on Facebook. Okay, but we're talking about levels. So you have like
Okay,
Bath and Body Works, you know what I'm
right.
saying? You have, your celebrity style perfumes and stuff. Then you have the oils. Like if you were to, this is just a general question. Um, Oh
Are you
well, no,
talking
no,
about the price tag of the different levels of
not the
fragrance?
price tag, the scent. So okay, here you go. You're married. Does your wife have to have like a certain scent where you're attracted? Like if she's walking, like is there a certain fragrance? Because for me, like when Aaron gets his hair cut and he looking all good and he puts that cologne on, that
Hmm.
initiates something in me to be like, okay, yeah, we you know what I'm saying? So is
Well,
it like that for men with perfume?
I don't think um I don't think all men you can classify that as a is that a man's thing or not. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
would be personal, particular to that person. For me, no, it doesn't take a fragrance. It
Okay.
doesn't take a fragrance for me personally, but I'm sure it would for somebody. Or I could assume fragrances are more like songs and time. You could remember a lot of people might remember the song that they danced to in high school prom, and that
Right.
song might do something to them. So it depends on what you're doing. Fragrances can take you back to a place such as Drakkar. Drakkar is a fragrance that takes me back to one of my best friends, Dion Hicks's sister's house when we were in the seventh grade, and he threw a party. Nothing
Mm.
happened. It wasn't anything with a girl or anything, but that was a time where we were young and we kind of felt grown because we was at a party that lasted past 11 o'clock. So
Mm.
Drakkar was out then, and I was wearing Drakkar. So anytime I smell Drakkar, it takes me to that time. So I don't relate fragrances to anything with sexuality, but I do relate it to things of pleasure,
Mm.
which sexual
Okay.
sex can be pleasure is
Right. That's what
pleasurable. So
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. So
yeah,
some of these companies that sell sex toys, right? They always have
right.
this one type of product. It's called the pheromones. Is it pheromones?
Pheromones, right?
Or there's like foods that are like aphrodisiacs. So that's what I'm saying, like,
Supposedly.
right, true. So so like I just wanted to know your thought process on, can certain fragrance initiate certain things, in a man or even in
Well,
a
and I take that
obviously.
back. There was a time with me and my wife before we were married. There was this fragrance called Oud. Oud is very popular now. Fragrances, OUD, and
Mhm.
Oud had us talking to each other a lot on a trip from DC. Put it like that. So it was something with the Oud. It was something with the Oud that made us like, is it doing something to you? And we were experimenting with it because after we read about it, I said, let me put on some Oud and let's see. And
Yeah.
so it could have been a placebo effect at that
Okay.
moment. But
Okay.
Oud, for any of you all out there that's looking for one of those aphrodisiac fragrances, OUD, Oud, it comes from the bark of a tree, but kings used to wear it so they could please all their concubines. So
Mm.
that's where it came from. And
Do you make it? Is that why you're saying that?
well, no, I don't make it. I
Well,
use
then
it
we're
in
not gonna promote
fragrances.
that. No. Oh, you do
Well,
use
no,
it in
I use
fragrances.
it in
Okay.
fragrances. I
Okay.
use it. Yeah, I use it in fragrances, but I don't make it. It's a natural occurring aroma. It's actually like a syrup, an oil that comes from the tree.
Oh, okay. So one last question before I let you get out of here, so we can get back onto the hot topics for today. Um, if someone wanted to get a fragrance created specifically for them, do you offer that service?
I'll entertain it. I've never done it. I'll entertain it, but I'm sure it will cost something up front if they really wanted my heart to go into it because I'm a
Okay.
busy person. So if I was going to pause on my vision to create a vision for somebody else, they would have to make it worth my while to do so. And then
Gotcha.
we'll talk about, yeah. So I've been asked that question. I just haven't embarked on it yet.
Yeah, because I know I've asked you that question.
Uh, well, it's
I'm like,
different for you.
I'm like,
Look, we'll talk. We'll talk.
okay, that's what I'm talking about, brother.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll
So
talk.
again, everyone, this is Mr. Victor Dove. And tell them your social media again and how they can reach out and support, because this is the Black Friday edition and we love supporting small. Well, I don't want to claim small because it's going to be big. We love supporting business, period. Local business. So if what's coming up, what holidays coming up? Halloween, you need to get a present. You know what I'm saying? Buy some perfume. Go ahead, give more
And
information.
it's the holiday coming tomorrow, which is the best holiday that anyone should buy a fragrance for someone special in their life. And that holiday is called Saturday. And it comes around every week. So every Friday, you all can try to contact me to buy a fragrance because Saturday will come back again. But you can
Oh,
contact me. I don't mind. My personal number is 252-670-1927. My website is opulentgrandeur.com. And social media is Opulent Grandeur on Facebook. It's OG Fragrances on Instagram. And my personal, which really contains more pictures than my commercial page, is at OG Lifestyle. And that's on
awesome.
Instagram. And I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Now I know you're OG, so all you gotta do is just click end and then you'll hop off the Zoom.
I know how to use Zoom, Miss
You
Shamisha.
know I love
I
you.
probably knew how to use Zoom before you knew how to use Zoom.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
It was good
All
seeing
right,
you, Vic.
thanks.
Be safe out there, man.
No doubt, man. It's good to see you, Larry. You
Yes,
hold it
sir.
down, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm proud of you,
Awesome.
boy. You just gave me something to look up to, boy. I'm listening to you.
Hey, I'm trying to get like you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'm trying, man. I'm
I
trying.
got you, OG. All right, fellas and ladies,
All
y'all
right, man.
take care.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a blessed night. Okay, that was so awesome. So where were we at? I know you were talking about Melinda. What'd you say, Ashley?
That was awesome. That was so amazing.
Yes, I love Victor Dove. So what were we talking about before we had our commercial break? We were talking about if the other person cheats, does two negatives make a positive? Were you saying that, Miss Belinda? What were I forgot.
I think we were just talking about the difference between males and females. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We were told we were emotional. Was that it, Larry? We're emotional creatures.
I do want to say though that when you ask that scenario, if the person ends up, all right, boom, I get cheated on, and then I end up cheating on my significant other. No two wrongs don't make it right, but I will say 9 times out of 10 it's probably a spiteful moment that you knew what she was doing, and even though you thought you forgave, excuse me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you had a spiteful moment that you knew that, fuck it, I'm about to do this.
Right.
Cheating, like I said, it's not a mistake. It's premeditated.
Well, I was trying to soften the blow.
Hey,
so
I'm sorry.
So what about open marriages? Do you think it makes sense to have an open marriage? Like if a marriage is supposed to be for two people, what's the purpose of the open marriage? What? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Does anybody have an answer to that about open marriages? Do you think why do they exist? Or is it just based on those two people and what they agree on?
I think open marriages probably exist for two people who was making too much money together but was just not happy, and it was like, look, I'm gonna give you permission to go out and do your thing, and you gotta give me permission to go out and do my thing. That sounds like some partnership. That's when we talked about earlier, that partnership. That sounds like some partnership type stuff, and like strictly partnership. Like, I don't know. I feel like some.
So you can't be broke and have an open marriage. You gotta have money.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That don't work for regular people. that does not work for regular people. That is not, no.
If you got open anything, I feel like you just kind of probably a little bit scared of something. Like we said earlier, the commitment. Or you don't want to be serious. Even if you're not scared, you don't want to be serious about something.
Yeah.
True.
That don't.
I don't know. Go ahead. What you was gonna say? I'm eating too. Look, I don't listen. It's Friday.
Popcorn.
I don't
It's
work
just
the 9 to
popcorn.
5.
Hold on. So can I
You
bust
lucky.
open my beef jerky then?
Listen, yes, I'm about to go get a glass of wine. Like, listen, we're talking about
Yeah.
relationships, and,
Let's
and it's
get it.
terrible that I'm going to talk about relationships and addiction and have a glass of wine. But you know, I'm addicted to my man, and he's addicted to me. He ain't going nowhere, and I'm not going anywhere either. But okay, so we're establishing you have to be rich to have an open marriage. You can't be broke.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. I
Ain't
didn't think
nobody
before I
having an
said that.
open
Excuse
marriage
me.
with Joe the trash man. Like that's just not going. That's not okay.
That's true. That's true. But Joe the trash man has potential.
To be a husband, not in an open marriage. Like
True. But that now
Trash men
that's
get paid.
they do for picking up the trash. Now, but that's a
Come on now.
good lead off question though. Can you be with somebody can you be with someone that may not be everything that you want them to be right then and there, but be willing to work through it to get to that point where you see that they have potential, and that's men and women. I'm gonna get that to you, Ashley. Go ahead.
Has potential. Yes, it's all about potential. Okay, I'm trying to love the person you are, the person you will be. Yes, but saying that if they don't have it,
questions too. Go ahead. In the
are you
chat.
saying if they don't have it together, would I give them the opportunity to get it together?
Right. But no, okay, so maybe I watched too many movies. The movie was Daddy's Girl, and it was with Idris Elbis, I can't say his name, and Gabrielle Union. And the friends,
I
you know what I'm
remember
saying? The
the
friends,
three little girls.
yes. The friends
Okay.
were judging Gabrielle because he was a mechanic. And then she started to, second guess what was going on. So it's like when someone approaches you, they want to holler at you, man or woman, and you can kind of see the potential, but you don't know for sure, but they meet the eyes expectations. Are you willing to go through that process, do the dating, and try to build a relationship, especially in the times now when the pickings are slim? That's really the question I'm looking for, is if you know what your wants are, regardless of what your age is, you know what your wants and needs are. This person that is not necessarily something that you wanted or was looking for, would you be open to be able to kind of have a relationship or date like outside of your expectations? You get what I'm saying?
And would you settle?
Well, but you're not settling if there's potential. But I'm kind of,
You have to see that potential, though. You have to make sure that you have to see that potential. If you don't see that potential, then go ahead and move on to the next person. But if you see potential within your partner or a potential partner, I mean, that's up to you.
But potential, we have mad comments. I'm gonna say them. But potential takes time, though. So like, I'm at the bar. I'm single. I've been single for mad years, and someone from the opposite race comes up. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like, in culture, like there's a lot of people that, don't want to date outside of their race. So you meet someone that's not what you expected and you try it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying in regards to like the potential. Like, they're totally nothing that you desired. Would you be willing to do that? It's like something different.
I think that just goes back to the communication piece. If I'm gonna give you a try, we need to communicate what that's going to look like, because I'm not going to drag this out for 10 years while I'm waiting for your potential to materialize into something. Like, we need to be talking about what is the plan, how are you going to get there, like give me some idea that you are not just saying, oh, I'm going to be the greatest whatever in the world, and then 10 years later nothing has materialized, and now I've wasted 10 years of my life and you still sitting on my couch playing video games. Like, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging someone's potential and supporting them in that, but there has to be a plan. There has to be communication, and we need to see forward movement. Like, you can't just be sitting in the same spot for forever and keep talking about the potential that you have.
And that's so funny because we have a viewer, Miss King, who said, "How long do you stay with somebody with potential until you throw in the towel?" So, how long do you deal with potential before you're like, yeah, I'm good? How long?
I mean,
Just like, oh, go ahead.
I mean, again, I think it just goes to, are we moving forward? Like, if we're moving forward, then I will stick it out. We can work it out. We can support each other through it. But there has to be movement. There's a difference between someone who has potential drive and motivation, and someone who has potential and hoop dreams that has no drive or motivation. And those are two different things. So you can have it's a lot of talented people sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
It's a matter of how motivated are you to materialize that potential into something.
Okay. Was you going to add on to that, Larry?
Yes, I was. Just like you have to see the potential in them, that person has to see potential in them as well. To make them, like, at one point, I mean, I used to be the guy that worked in a warehouse from 7 to 7, dirty as hell all day. But you didn't know I was a photographer. You didn't know I took amazing pictures. You didn't know I did videos. You didn't know I had a podcast. You didn't know I sold clothes. Like, but that stuff ain't where I wanted to be.
Right.
I'm with a shorty right now this is blowing up right now.
And
I'm with a woman. Yeah, I'm with a woman that's blowing up right now. And shoot, you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I'm not where I want to be right now, but I know my potential. But the difference in her being a girl with an artist with a blue check mark and somebody getting to where they want to be is, all right, am I working towards my dreams? Am I out here hustling just like she out here hustling? Or do I not even recognize what I got going on, and am I not trying at all? Right. So as soon as you recognize that, whether it be the man or the woman, as soon as you recognize that this person don't have it, don't even see his potential, I've been telling him or her about their potential, and they don't even see it, that's when you leave.
So, yes, I agree. So, talking about that brings up a great comment that Mr. Greg Coverdale said. He said he agreed with you, Melinda. He said potential and also is the relationship healthy? And then he says if the person is not good for you emotionally, spiritually, you need to find something that is healthy. So that's the whole point of being toxic and knowing when it's time to cut it loose, because their lack of potential can possibly bring your potential down, right? Where it's like you're in a relationship, you see the potential, like you said, Larry, but they don't see it in themselves. So you're putting yourself to the side to help them gain their potential, which is draining you. And we're all about checks and balances, right? Where you need to fill my cup and I'm going to fill your cup. And sometimes, it's not always 50-50 or 100-100, however you want to say it. So yes, I do agree that you do have to know when it is to throw in the towel when it comes to potential. Ashley, do you have anything to add on to that?
Appreciate a man or a person that has a 9 to 5. I feel like we live in a society that like glamorizes everything, or like, I don't know, wants you to be just like so extraordinary. But if you have a good work ethic and you work a 9 to 5 and you work hard, like, I feel like I value that. So regardless of if you are stocking boxes at a store or a VP of a major company, I feel like if you take pride in what you do and you work hard, I can do nothing but admire that.
Awesome. Okay. So let's get to to the questions, or yeah, so let's talk about addictions. Because you can be, I believe people have, I believe you can be in a relationship where it's very toxic. But it's like you're addicted to it. It's like you need that type of energy to function. And then sometimes you have people that are in these toxic relationships, and it's like, I don't want to have to pack up and start over again. So they get complacent and they just settle. And to deal with this relationship, they either drink all the time, they may smoke, or do harder drugs than that. Am I far off, or is that something we can all agree on? Is that a
Yeah,
mimosa, Ashley?
Hey, I wanted to know earlier too.
Nah, it's actually a pina colada. Let me see that thing. It's like that pina colada naked, oh, naked. It's naked. You know
Oh,
those naked drinks? It's
yeah.
no alcohol in it.
Oh, okay. I was
Because
about to
we
say.
know we talking about addiction, and I'm trying to stop drinking because I did recognize that with all the COVID stuff and going through a divorce, I was like realizing that I was leaning on alcohol more than I should. So I was like, I'm just gonna stop drinking. But yeah, so it's nothing but virgin pina
Okay,
coladas for
Queen.
me.
That's what I'm talking about. That's good. So, okay, well, that's an example.
That's a
Some
big
people
step.
don't. You're right. Some people don't see that that may be toxic for them, and they just continue to divulge in that type of stuff. Um, but I kind of wanted to addictions. I wanted to throw the mic over to Miss Melinda so you can kind of just talk about, it don't have to necessarily be relate with relationships, but if you can relate, that's fine. But just talk about addictions in general, like how that affects someone.
yeah. So I mean, I think the thing with addiction, most addictions start as kind of, let's play around with this and see if I like it. And then it goes from maybe like a social situation to a, now it's becoming, and I'm doing this every weekend, to now I'm doing it every day, to now it is impacting my life. I'm not taking care of my house. I'm not being able to go to work. I'm putting myself in situations where I'm driving intoxicated, so on and so forth, and putting myself in physically hazardous situations. And so that's when what was something that I was doing for fun then becomes an addiction.
Right.
And I think anything can become an addiction. It's, you can get addicted to, like you said, relationships. Um, of course, substances, drugs, and alcohol. Food can be an
Sex.
addiction. Sex can be an addiction. And then speaking of like Jada and Will, I remember listening to her, one of her Red Table talks, and she was saying how she was addicted to working out at one point. Like she was just working out crazy and had gotten down to like an unhealthy size. Um, so I think anything in excess can become an addiction. I think everything has to be done in moderation. There has to be some limitations on everything that we do in life, or it can become an addiction. In regards to relationships, I think there's a lot of different facets to relationships, and I think it's easy for us on the outside. And it's funny because I just had this conversation with one of my coworkers, because it's easy for us on the outside to see someone in a toxic relationship and say, you need to just pack your stuff and get out. Why are you still there?
Right.
But there's so many layers to it. Like, we may not know that person's financial situation. Are you financially dependent on this person and
Right.
you don't have anywhere else to go? We don't know. It's a lot of trauma that goes along with that. And so,
Yes. That, and I think that's the key word is trauma.
mhm,
Because when people have trauma, that's where the, I feel like the addiction comes from. So because I mean, I'll put my stuff out there, after the hurricane, and being out there and doing all that stuff, I developed trauma because of seeing other people's tragedy, and I started smoking cigarettes, and that was crazy. And after cigarettes, I mean, I will bust them down. I don't think I was necessarily inhaling them. It was just the action of putting the cigarette to my face. And then I went over to Black and Miles, and it was 2 years strong. And then I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and part of my surgery, I have to get a big surgery in a couple of weeks. You can't smoke because the skin is unhealthy. Um, and so it's like, man, I gotta stop. Um, but it's hard. That's the thing with addictions. Addictions are hard because it's like it's super stressed. You know what I'm saying? We're still dealing with COVID. Our kids are remote learning. I'm remote from work. It's like the only time I get to go out is if I'm going grocery shopping. So it's like, it's so much going on. It's like, I really need a cigarette, or I really need a Black and Mild. And I mean, I don't judge anybody because I don't know anybody else's story. I just know mine. And I was like a little light smoker, only 2 years of my life compared to people that have done it all of their life. It's not easy to quit. It's definitely not. So I know my level of addiction when it comes to substance, and my level of addiction is the same when it comes to a relationship with my husband. Like, don't be saying hi to my husband and you ain't say hi to me. Don't be tagging my husband
Facts.
in no posts and you ain't tag me. That's Bay, whether I'm mad at him
Oh,
or
we gotta
not.
tag both of you?
Yes, you have to tag both of us. If you a female, you better tag me and my husband and we friends. Don't be tagging my husband
Gotcha.
as it's something you want to promote. Just, tag us both. We a team. It's one. What they say, when two come together, we make one.
Facts.
We got the same
Mm-hmm.
last name. But that's me personally. So I'm addicted to my man. I just, he'll tell you, well, if he did get on here, he'll tell you, I'll be like, we'll be sitting in the garages talking. I babe, where you going? He's like, I'm going to the bathroom. All right, babe, where you going? I'm going to the kitchen. Like, that's how I am in my relationship, and I know based on my addiction. So I mean, does anybody else? Am I the only one that's like that? Really?
Nah, you not the only one like that. I'm not addicted to this woman, but I've told her she is addicting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very observative. I've listened to other men and question why they said certain things,
Mm-hmm.
but dealing with the woman I'm dealing with, I could understand why she might say, or other women would say, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He acted like this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, you kind of addicting.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying based
So
off beauty or personality? Where's the addiction in the relationship?
personality.
Personality.
She bad though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, she
But it's
is.
personality.
Yes, yes. How do
It's
you feel about
personality.
that, Ashley? Addictions compared with relationships.
I can definitely relate because when I was with my husband, I was very much like when things ended, I really went through a period of depression and just questioning life, and just I realized how much I didn't really have a sense of self, an individual, and apart from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in hindsight, I can definitely see where there was, you know, like Melinda was saying, anything in excess can be harmful. And so I don't know, can you love in excess? Can you, or do you have to love in moderation? I think that's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. If I did, I'd probably still be married.
Oh my God, if you don't stop. Do you have anything to add to that, Miss Melinda, or no?
I mean, yeah, I think there are those psychological attachments when you
Wait,
are with
I
somebody.
have to interrupt you because your husband is a
My
mess. He
husband.
said Melinda is definitely addicted to her husband. Well, he's addicted to you
So
because
let me give you some backstory
go
about
ahead.
me and my husband.
Okay.
So I've known my husband since I was 14. We met in high
Shut
school.
up. Oh
Right.
man.
So we are quote unquote high school
sweethearts.
Now he will tell you that we have been together since high school. That is the story that he will tell. That story is not true. We had an entanglement. I'm going to use your word, Larry. We had an entanglement in high school. We both left and went off to college and then kind of reconnected in 2005 and have been together since. So we've been together since 2005. We've been married since 2008.
So y'all have that love and basketball type of love.
Yeah.
All he was saying was you had his heart for all them years. That's all he was saying.
Thank you, Larry.
Spiritually, I was with you spiritually. That's all he was saying.
That is true. Listen, so we have years of, time together. So he is definitely like a part of me. Like I can't, it just, I don't think I could function without him. When we did those death do us part vows, that's legit. Somebody got to die. Like for this to be over.
Right. I feel you on that one.
So we definitely have those psychological, emotional ties. And plus he know if we get divorced, his family coming to me. So he don't want that type of situation going on.
You heard that? She letting you know, okay? So I do want to jump in there. For everybody that is commenting right now, it is Greg because he is going off in these comments. We are giving away. So whoever has the most comments, we are giving away a shirt. Larry, tell them what your shirt is about.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Big Smooth Black Suave, and the nigga D, Hefty Hilton, King Black, the heartbroken people healing himself. This is Larry Hilton, the actual creator of the Couch Session. Everybody always wants to know, Larry, what does this bear mean? Well, let me tell you what the bear means. First, his name is Bozzy B, and the bear means, shout out to my people from the 252, you know what I'm saying, New Bern. The New Bern Bears meets the Queen City, the Basquiat crown. I like that crown specifically. So I just mixed the two. That's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's my matching apparel to my podcast. Go follow me on Facebook at The Couch Sesh. You have to type in The Couch Sesh, SESH, and on Instagram it's The Couch Session. You can listen to me on all platforms. It's the best platform. Matter of fact, it's the best podcast out there for the culture.
Until I get my numbers up. Awesome.
Facts.
So we could be equal. I'm equal. Yes,
we are giving.
Yes, we do. We do have to. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Ashley, who are you bringing to the cookout, celebrity edition, and why?
I ain't even thought about my answer.
I could bring any celebrity.
One celebrity to the cookout, okay? And why? Why are you bringing them? What are they going to offer to the cookout?
I always said that if I could go out to dinner with one celebrity, it would be this person. So I guess going out to a cookout is the same thing as going out to dinner. So it would have to be Marlon Wayans because I feel like he is so funny and he would have me dying laughing the whole time. Like I feel like a cookout with him would just be so much fun and so popping.
Okay. Marlon he's still popping, so that's an acceptable answer. Okay, Miss Melinda, if you could bring any celebrity to the cookout, who you bringing?
So if I can bring any celebrity to the cookout, I am bringing the queen, Miss Patti LaBelle, because everybody know Patti throw down in the kitchen. Like she gonna have the food lit.
Goodness.
So we have to bring the queen, Miss Patti LaBelle, to the cookout.
Okay, that was a good one right there. Okay, Mr. Larry, who is you bringing to the cookout, celebrity style, and why?
I am bringing no other than Mama Badu, Miss Erykah Badu.
Oh my! This cookout finna be off the chain.
I'm coming to her with my you know what I'm saying, on the brother arm, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I'm
my
walking
goodness.
up. And then of course I probably have my other thing on the other arm too, because I can't go nowhere without her, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm walking up in there with Erykah Badu, because she a whole vibe, you know what I'm saying? She a whole vibe. And she DJ too, so it's like, yo, let me get on the ones and twos, play some music real quick. Oh yeah, she a whole vibe.
Okay, she is like when she was on Versus, she is a vibe for. I say Versus. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm from New York. Who cares? So if I had to bring one celebrity to the cookout, I would have to bring. I would have to bring Denzel Washington.
Lord, she had to do it big, didn't she, y'all?
No, only
Why
because
Denzel?
because I'm inspired by him, and he just has this swag about him. Like we already know how he acts and he talks. I just feel like that's how it's gonna be when we there, and I just feel like he has so much wisdom to impart. He has done theater, a lot of the movies. I just want to, just be able to conversate with him, and just see, you know, what's going on. Like Denzel, who wouldn't want to talk to Denzel? Training Day, Denzel. Y'all
Just
remember
check the same
Denzel?
checkers.
right. So I would definitely have to bring Denzel. If you're watching and listening and you want to participate on who you bring into the cookout, put it in the chat so we can laugh and see. Make sure you tell us why. But we do have many comments.
You didn't
Go ahead.
specify if they are dead or alive. What about if it's a dead celebrity?
Okay, yeah, it could be dead or alive. So now you switching your answer?
Tupac, because I love me some Tupac. I feel like that would be such a good cookout. No?
Yes, it
Poetic
would.
Justice, he walk her cousin.
Yes.
Pete, come put. Yes.
So okay, so one of the what was Greg saying? Greg was saying, what if it's not being addicted to a positive person, as opposed to your desire to be with them because of their personality and the way they care for you. So I think he's trying to say it's not necessarily an addiction, but it's your desire to be with someone because of their personality and how they care for you. Do you guys get that? I'm trying to translate because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's all about anything in excess can be detrimental. So
Except for sex.
Sex in excess can be detrimental.
Really? In relationships? I think
I think
sex is up there with communication because it's an outlet. Like you gotta have a vibe. You gotta be, I'm talking about relationships, not
as long as you are sexing and communicating. What happens is some people replace communication with sex. So if y'all aren't talking about anything, y'all are just sexing y'all way through the relationship and not addressing any issues. And then what may have been a small issue becomes a huge issue because y'all have cut communication and replaced it with sex.
But what about when you get into an argument and you have makeup sex?
I mean, that's totally healthy.
Some things can be communicated without being said. We know what's up.
But you can communicate during sex, I was so mad at you. You know what I'm saying? You communicate during sex. No, Ashley, you don't agree?
I'm not having sex, so I can't say that I'm celibate until I get married again. But no, that's a little too much information. But what I will say,
more power
that's right. That's true.
But what I will say is I really agree with Melinda that too much of anything in excess is unhealthy. Because if you having sex all day, every day, how you gonna have time to eat, sleep, work, function? So you have to still even have sex in moderation.
I mean, I understand in moderation, but what if you have a partner that is very sexually active? Like, women and men are not on the same level, especially when it comes to age. Like for me, when I was like 25, I'm 35 now. So maybe like 28, 29, I could have been at my prime. Men, aren't they usually at their prime at a younger age? That's,
I'm just getting into my prime.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's
But
you.
I think again, I think you have to, there are other forms of intimacy besides sex, and I think that's important to establish in a relationship. Like, yeah, we could easily just have sex, but what are other ways that we can be intimate with one another? And that, again, I think that goes to the communication piece, communicating what your likes are, what your dislikes are, like what you're willing to try, what you're kind of nah, I ain't doing that, or but just I think sex becomes the easy go-to, but you can definitely find other ways to be intimate with your partner that may not include sex.
Now that does sound good. I respect it and I agree. But what about in a relationship where, okay, so say we're married, right? We're married and we don't cheat, right? And we don't believe in divorce. And say you waited to marriage to have sex and it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's whack. Is that a reason to divorce somebody? Like, cause sex is very important in a relationship. Go ahead. I know Ashley finna say something.
Come on, Ashley.
It's too whack though, because I feel like that's very subjective as well.
So what's whack? You only want to have sex like twice a month. Maybe it might not be the size. Maybe she, we on Facebook. You know what I'm talking about. What whack is?
Well, I feel like it goes
whack.
It goes back to that whole potential thing. If there's room to grow, then that's one thing. But if you just a lousy lay.
Ain't no, how you gonna see potential if you waiting for marriage in regards to sex? You don't know what happens until.
No, if you get married and you have sex and it's not all that. What I'm saying is, okay, what if it's a matter of they didn't last long? Well, there's things we could do to make it last longer. That's potential. Potential is we can make this work. Now, if it's just flaccid, then that's gonna be a problem.
But you're married, you don't believe in divorce.
Well, you're gonna have to figure that out.
But you'll find that out early on. You can get to know like it never happened. So then we don't even have to get a divorce. Like, that's gonna come clear in the honeymoon phase. Like,
that's true. That's true. I just want my viewpoint is I know that addictions. We talk about sex. It doesn't have, like, addictions don't necessarily have to be bad. Having a lot of sex is not a bad thing. I'm not throwing my business out there. I'm just saying in general, I think that sex is at a high level in relationships. Like, because for me, I feel like sex, trust, and communication are all on the same level. Because for me to have sex with you, I have to be able to communicate that, and I have to be able to trust you. But I don't necessarily I don't know. I don't think that I lost my train of thought. What I was trying to say, it was piggybacking off of what Ashley was saying.
There's folks out here doing the nasty, and they don't trust each other now, though. Jay, you ain't got to trust somebody to let me get some of them yams. I ain't got none, because I'll holler at you afterwards. There's plenty of people who are having casual sex multiple times with each other and don't
mode.
Trust.
But but when you have sex with the individual, things transfer. You don't want that negative juju. You got to be careful of the juju.
Don't nobody think about that. Them people ain't thinking about that. Everybody not. I feel you. I agree with you. But everybody not thinking about that. All that baggage that attached to that piece of penis or plus. Excuse me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ain't nobody thinking about that. But yes, I feel you. It's an exchange of energy.
Go ahead, Melinda.
So there's a pastor in Tulsa called his name is Pastor Michael Todd, and he did a series on relationship goals. And one of the things that he said is that every time you have sex with somebody, there is a soul tie. So you are connected to that person pretty much for the rest of your life. And so if you were to like create a visual of what that looks like, if you're out here just having casual sex with all these people, then you have all these soul ties to all these random different people, and you're dragging all of this from person to person into relationship to relationship. And so want to be careful about who we are giving ourselves to. You have to think, for a female, sex is someone is putting something inside of your body. Like, that is a very intimate, invasive thing. And if you're allowing any and everybody to do that, that's just a very personal, private thing. And so we have to be kind of aware of who we are just casually having sex with, because you are creating all of these soul ties with all of these different people, and you drag that baggage around with you.
I got two things out of that. Ashley, do you have something to say real quick?
And that goes to values, because a lot of people have the value immediate gratification more than they do any long-term ramifications of having multiple partners. Some people value the exchange of energy. Some people, so I think that's why they're, I don't know, I guess all I can say is to each his own. I'm not exchanging no energy, no nothing. You have to prove to me you are worthy of my time and my body and all of that. But it did take me 34 years of life to develop these values, but some people just aren't there yet. Some people just want to have fun and live their YOLO life or whatever.
Okay, so Melinda, what you were saying in regards to soul ties and the baggage, that's a major thing with relationships, is bringing that baggage from an old relationship. And a lot of us do it, because I know I did. Have any one of you experienced that, bringing baggage into a relationship, or know of situations, or could speak on, bringing baggage into a relationship and how toxic that can be? Y'all so quiet. Y'all scared to talk.
Everyone.
What you about to say? What'd you say, Ashley?
That. Okay.
So your AirPods died.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know how these things work. But so what were we talking about?
Baggage, bringing baggage into your relationship, and how
of course,
toxic
because because all of our experiences shape how our thought patterns are, how our behavior patterns are. So if we go through a traumatic experience in a relationship or an abusive relationship, of course that is going to impact how we view ourselves and others and the world around us, and how we approach relationships.
Do you agree with that, Larry?
True. Yes, I do. Baggage, you mentioned the word trauma earlier. Baggage, I think baggage and trauma is kind of the same thing. But you know what I'm saying? I'll put myself, out there. I done been through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's affected how I communicate with women. And it has drawn some women away. I've lost women because of my trauma / baggage. You just kind of got to get that shit under control.
Right, and that's true. Do you think
it's hard? Don't get me wrong, it's hard.
Do you think there's more women that bring baggage than there is men that bring baggage into relationships? Do you think it's equal? You think men bring more baggage?
I think we all bring baggage into relationships, and it doesn't even have to be from a previous relationship. We bring baggage from our family systems and how we were raised. So all of that impacts how we engage and interact with people, period. So it doesn't even have to be baggage from a previous relationship, which we bring that too. But I mean, I'll use myself as an example. My family was not huge on communication. And so I'm not a great communicator, where my husband communicates well. And so that is something that I have had to learn and am continuing to learn in my marriage, is how to appropriately communicate with people, or especially him, because, and I don't know how my state parents communicated, because they didn't do it in front of us. I had older school parents who, when they had arguments or whatever, they did it behind closed doors. So I never got to see how to have a healthy argument with my spouse, because my parents never did that in front of us. And so I think everyone brings some baggage, trauma, experiences from childhood all the way through. You bring all that into a relationship, and you have to kind of learn what experience to hold on to, because that's going to benefit you in the relationship, and what experiences or traumas you need to let go of, because it's going to be toxic in your relationship.
Right, which could lead into you developing addictions and unhealthy addictions, and it's not good for either party in the relationship. So yes, that's definitely true. The second thing I was going to say is, when you were talking about soul ties and a woman, and the man entering the body, and how we have to be protective of that. What's your viewpoint on someone like what's her name? She got the bald head. What is her
Amber
name?
Rose.
Amber Rose. Right. Where, it's her kitty cat, and she has the right to do what she wants. I know with stigmas, it's like women are judged more if we are free spirit, but men aren't. Is that fair? Is that right? Aren't men hoes if they're out there sticking their things in women?
No.
Why not? Why not?
Nah, I'm playing.
I was going to say, I hope
No, be real.
No, like you said earlier with the double standards thing, sometimes it's just a double standard. Just like this, men got to deal with certain stuff. I mean, I feel like that's just, since the beginning of time, that's just one of them. It sucks. It's a double standard, but that's just one of them things that women got to deal with. Men don't get the flack like women do when it comes to throwing their goodies around.
Throwing the goodies around.
Hey.
Do you agree with that, Melinda? The whole Amber
I,
Rose viewpoint and the judgment and the double standard?
I definitely think there's a double standard. Men sleep around. There are players that is like a notch in their belt. That is, society sees that as a positive. Where again, if a woman does the same thing, she's a hoe, she's a thought, she's all those different things. And so, yeah, I definitely
Unless
think that
they
double
playing the
standard.
game right. You got to
What
play
does
the
that
game
mean?
right.
What's that mean?
Like, I'll put it like this. I done seen some hoes, women hoes, and I done seen some women players. And women, I feel like y'all got to keep it more real than I don't know. I've seen player women. I've seen women that are players like.
So
yeah,
what do you consider a female player? Because kind of like Coming to America, when my man had to go soil his royal oats to say,
boom.
why can't women do the same in regards to dating multiple people or having multiple partners? This is not what I'm experiencing. I'm just saying, what's the problem with that? What makes them a hoe? You know what I'm saying? What makes them a player? As long as she is being honest with everyone involved. Like, until
we only tie down the word hoe to sexual relations. Like a player, when I think of a player, I think either a man or a woman like a woman player. She got a man for every little thing that she need done. She got a man to buy her food. She got a man to fix her car. She got a man to fix her house. She got a man to fix this, that, and the third. Like, that's a player. You don't have to be having sex with some. You attach a hoe. You attach hoe when you start having sex with the person. Just because you're a player doesn't mean sex is involved.
That's true. That's a good point. Ashley, you got
Yeah.
anything to add? Go ahead, Melinda.
But I think if we keep it a book, if you see a lady and she got a bunch of guys coming in and out her house, one guy fixing her plumbing, one guy fixing.
If you a player, you're not gonna see him. If you a player, you're not gonna see me. Come on now, you got to play the game right. That's all I'm saying.
But again, that's a double standard, because a man could be out with countless women and don't care who see it, and it's still cool. But a woman has to then do it behind closed doors in the middle of the night so people don't make assumptions about her.
Go ahead now. Go ahead, preach this.
I'm not saying you got to do it behind closed doors. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's you have to carry yourself a specific way if you want to be a player.
What?
And a player would tell you that. Like, look, listen here. Like, you can't be out here doing this. That's some hoe shit. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That's some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's the way you got to carry yourself. I ain't a player, so I want to know though.
What you about to say, Ashley?
I agree that women, we have power in our P, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a saying for a reason. And so I think when a woman knows her power, right? Of course, we have power in all aspects and realms, from intelligence to beauty to smarts to our bodily parts, So I think
you're talking about your
WAP, yes. So if you know your power, and you move accordingly, then who cares? But I think that the term hoe a lot of times comes from if a person doesn't respect themselves or they don't recognize the power that they have and they just reckless with it, they moving all reckless, then that can be a problem.
Yeah, but if they feel like they
moving in
respect
that power
themselves, if they feel that they respect themselves and they're eternally okay with what they're doing, why do they gotta be labeled a hoe?
Sometimes we don't know what we be doing out there when we be wilding. You may think I don't know. I'm just saying.
But are we saying that based on society standards of what a woman should do and what a man should do?
I think it's gender. I think it applies to both genders. I feel like a man could be a hoe if you reckless and you out here just swapping meat with everybody. That's gross. I don't think that's cool at all. I think that's, to me, you don't respect yourself. You don't respect others. That's a hoe. But if you carry yourself with respect and you just doing your thing, then to each his own. But who am I to judge? But it is risky. It's very risky. Strap up, use condoms, practice safe sex, because there's people out here dying, and they do have cures or they do have medicine for some things, but it's a lot of things they don't. So y'all be careful.
Is that not the truth? I'm dying. So, okay, that was good to me. And okay, so I've had so much fun talking to you guys tonight. I think this was amazing. My first Black Friday edition of just talking about regular stuff. Thank you. So I really appreciate the conversation. When it comes to relationships and addictions, whether it's in your own personal life or not, I want you all to leave giving a positive encouragement, single, married, in an entanglement, to everybody, all the viewers. So I'm gonna go round robin. Ashley, you give your lasting words to this topic of conversation tonight.
So there is life after love. If you get your heart broken, if things don't work out, just know that things always get better. And it's not if you learn from it, it's not a mistake, it's a lesson. So you learn from it, you move on, you use it to gain strength and wisdom. And, mental health is real. Take care of your mental health, take care of your emotional health. If you have trauma that you need to heal from, BetterHelp is a really good platform. There's lots of that's the blessing behind this COVID thing, is now services are more accessible. You can do telehealth. Sometimes help now is just a phone call away. So don't hesitate to start healing if you need healing. So that's all I got to say.
Awesome. It's on you, Larry.
Okay.
Give your lasting words.
All I would say is work on your trauma as much as you can, /baggage, work on that as much as you can, in every way that you can. Deal with it, face it, tackle it, and find a solution. And one thing we didn't really say that was on my mind a while ago, let's try to be strong enough not to let people influence us to
Oh,
go down a negative road. We didn't mention that because I just like, because I've never had nobody like influence me to, well, have me get addicted to something like that.
right.
Now I've been in a situation where I've been addicted to some stuff because of some situations I've been through,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like I used to drink way too much.
Mm-hmm.
After too many deaths in my family close to me, I used to just drink entirely too much. But I knew I was I was strong enough in my head, my mindset that it wasn't gonna go down the right road.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just try to have that mindset to be aware to know that this isn't going to end right and know
Right.
when to stop.
Mhm.
Or know when to find a new route. Shoot, I put the liquor down and picked up a blunt. Best
Oh
decision of
my
my life.
God.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a new, you gotta find alternative ways to cope with what
Just
you're
the
dealing with, and you just gotta be wise.
hopefully the blunt has CBD in there. It's a
Yeah,
CBD, all
CBD,
natural. Yes.
CBD.
All right. Miss Melinda, go ahead.
So I would just say respect yourself, love yourself. Um, Whatever your situation is, whether you're married, whether you're dating, whether you're in an entanglement, whether you're playing the field and trying to figure out what it is that you want in life. Just make sure that you're doing it because you want to do it and not because somebody else wants you to do it, and that you respect yourself in whatever that process is. Um, and the other thing I would say is just check on your people, because I think that's a big thing. I think right now, especially right now, a lot of people feel isolated. I
Mhm.
think that even pre-COVID, we are so used to being behind these screens and on Facebook and on social media that we have lost the art of communication and having
Yes.
conversations with people and just checking in on people. And so check on your people. Just call them and say how you doing. Because you never know what somebody's going through, and you may be the person that called that helped them out that day. So that's all I got.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Awesome. So y'all know I gotta run it down. So I just want to say thank you again to Ashley Jones, Melinda King, Larry Hilton Jr. for joining me on my first Politickin' as usual Black Friday edition. Shout out to Victor Dove for coming on for my first commercial and talking about his excellent special perfume. Is it perfume? Did I get it right?
Parfume.
Parfum.
Perfume. Okay,
Parfum.
y'all.
Parfum.
Perfume. Okay. And then we also are giving away one of Larry's shirts. It looks like we have to give it to Greg Coverdale because he's been in the comments going in. So, Greg, if you're watching still, please drop your shirt size. We will be sending you a shirt.
I
Last
got
but
you,
not
Greg.
least, everybody watching, or they're gonna watch the rewind. I'm stumbling over my words because I need to have a drink. It's like, let me stop. Um, don't forget to register to vote. Don't forget to
Woo!
vote.
That's right.
November
Amen.
3rd is very important. You can vote early. Last but not least, catch me every Thursday on the same platform, Talking Politics. And then the next Friday, the 25th, we will be on here with the owner of Above the Roots, Max Oglesby. And we're talking about everything legalizing cannabis, medical cannabis.
Oh,
So
I'm in
that's
there.
next Friday at 7 p.m. If you want to hop on now, Larry, don't play. And
Hey,
anybody that
y'all
is,
talking now.
yeah, we are. And anybody that, where these are real conversations, there's topics. If you're following the page, throw stuff up there if you want us to have those conversations, and join the live. Like, I will give you the Zoom link and you can hop on there. And don't forget, remember, if you're bringing somebody to the cookout, drop those in the comments too. Again, I love you guys. I appreciate the conversation.
Love you.
Go have a
Love
drink.
you.
Drink some
Thank
more
you.
orange juice. Thank you. Bye.
Y'all know what
See
I'm
you
Bye.
later.
about.
Bye.